Cheers and hello everybody. Normally I would have a cup of coffee, but I just got back from a coffee date with my husband, and so coffee is not in the cards, but we can do a flavored water. Spindrift, always the best. And I am going to do an easy video today. This is a book haul video, I guess. If you've been here before, you know, depend on the library for a lot of my books. However, I am in the very fortunate position with my job that I do get access to a fairly good number of ARCs, and I have recently discovered I actually have access to quite a few electronic ARCs, and I hadn't been using that program a lot previously because I didn't like the format that it came in to actually read, but a coworker has informed me that I actually can use it through Kindle, and that is an absolute game changer. So I went on a shopping spree, and I thought, I don't know, maybe you'd want to see some books that are going to be coming out. These are books that I have interest in reading. They're going to sit on my Kindle until I get to them. Some of them I will definitely read before the release date. Some of them I'll wait till the release date. A few I have electronically, but they are books that I'm going to want to own physically, so I'm not sure that I'm going to get to them, but they're just books that I am so excited about that I got them and thought, let's share them. So this is a book haul / anticipated releases sort of thing, books that I have access to right now that I'm very excited about. Let us see which ones they are. We're going to start with first, I have 6 here physically. These are all books that are going to come out in the next couple of months. Some of the books you'll see are books that have been released, but they've been sitting on my Kindle app for a little while now, and I just thought, let's talk about it. Let's do a book haul. We have first The Great Wherever by Shannon Sanders, and the tagline on this is "The dead are restless gossips, or at least these dead are." And I think it's about a woman that goes back to her family home, and there's ghosts. I'm not totally sure, but it sounded really intriguing. I have that one. This one I'm actually quite excited about. That is Hot Girl Murder Club by Ashley Winstead. Ashley Winstead has been kind of a hit or miss author for me, but mostly hit. Saw this, definitely want to pick this up. I expect that this will be a quick page turner, propulsive read. I'm very excited. Country People by Daniel Mason. Daniel Mason wrote Northwoods, which was a roaring success a few years ago. I read Northwoods, or I started to read Northwoods, but I didn't finish it. And it's not because I wasn't enjoying it. I'm not really sure what happened, but for some reason I was pulled away from it, and I didn't ever get back to reading it because it was a library book and it was taking forever for it to get to me. But this is his newest one, so I'm going to check this one out. I have Whale Harbor by Mary Beth Keane, and this one is, oh, it was blurbed. This is why I found it interesting. It was blurbed by Claire Leslie Hall, who wrote Broken Country, and Broken Country, and I really enjoyed that book. When did I read that? Earlier this year, late last year. So grabbed this. It is a multi-generational saga. There we go. By Roberta Recchia, All That Is Left of Life. I've got this one. It is also a multi-generational book, and it says it's for fans of Elena Ferrante and Liz Moore. I have not read Elena Ferrante, although she is on the TBR, but Liz Moore I have read from, and I've enjoyed everything by Liz Moore. Looking forward to this. And then we have this one, a little bit of a different vibe, The Mortons by Justine Larbelstier and Scott Westerfield. Scott Westerfield wrote The Uglies or something, I believe the YA series, I'm not totally sure, but this is meet the Mortons. In this family, murder is currency and business is booming. So we shall see how that goes. Those are the books that I have physically, and now I'm going to open my Kindle app. Where is it? Right here. And let's talk about the other books that I hope to get to that I'm excited about. First one, I have A Parade of Horribles by Matt Dinniman. This one is obviously part of the Dungeon Crawler Carl universe. I will not be reading this one anytime soon, only because I'm still working my way through book number 3, or I'm waiting for book 3. Book 3? No, I'm waiting for book 4 to get to me. I've read the first 3. This is just going to sit and wait until I want it, but then I will not have to wait for the library on this one. It'll be ready for me. I have Scion by James Islington. I'm not totally sure what this is about. You will hear that as a common thread through all these books, is I'm not totally sure what they're about. They sounded interesting, I downloaded them, I have since forgotten, but normally there's a reason, and this is because James Islington wrote the Hierarchy series. Yep, the Hierarchy series, which I absolutely adore, and thought, obviously, I'm going to give this one a go. I have Peck and Peck by Bonnie Garmis. I really liked Lessons in Chemistry. I'm very much looking forward to her next book, so I've got that one. This, you are actually being propped up right now by Lessons in Chemistry, so I'm excited about it. I've got, oh, The Mercy Step by Marsha Hutchinson. Is that who wrote The Mercy Step? I believe it's Marsha Hutchinson who wrote, I can't read the writing, it's really small. And I have read that one because I read it for part of the Women's Prize, which I do have thoughts on. I'm hoping to get a video up in time to talk about it before the winner is announced next week, I think. But definitely I've read that one. We Hexed the Moon by Molly Hall Seeley. This is a book about a group of girls who hex the moon and the moon disappears. Not totally sure what beyond that it is about, but this book has been released. I saw it, I think my library, I think I saw it on like new release to my library. I'm excited to read that one. It's been something that's been on my radar for like a year. I think I heard of it summer last year, and I've been looking forward to reading it, and when I saw it available as an electronic ARC for myself, I grabbed it. Sunrise by Taya Obrey. And this, I don't remember what else this author has written, but there was something about this book that sounded really interesting, so I have grabbed it. I have The 1012 by Anna Malone. Sorry, these things are by Anna Maloney, and this is a thriller. It says 387 passengers, one split-second decision. And I think you are following different perspectives through this on a train. I'm not totally sure, but this, I believe, is a thriller. I have 100 Guinea Pigs by Gustavo Rodriguez, I believe is the author. And again, not sure what this one is about, but the title sounds very interesting, so I'm super into it. Every Story is a Love Story by Mbolo Mbu. And has this author written anything else? I feel like they sound familiar, but I'm not totally sure. But Every Story is a Love Story by Mbolo Mbu. I have The Idiot by Fyodor Dostoevsky. This one, I think there's a new edition coming out, and that's why it was available as an advanced reader copy. Don't quote me on that, but I've never read it, and I thought, hey, that seems like a fun one to pick up, because it's one that's definitely on like the life TBR, but just not one that I have read currently. Nor do I really have any very current soon plans to read it, but I wanted it. Cathedrals by, I believe Cathedrals is written by Claudia Pinheiro. Yes, Cathedrals by Claudia Pinheiro. I was excited to pick this one up. I've read quite a few Claudia Pinheiro books and enjoyed most of them, and thought this one's definitely going on the TBR. Asbestos, Editing Hope. Just to pop in really quick and say the author that I said here is so very wrong. I don't know where that name came from. Asbestos is written by Sebastian Jalud and translated by Pablo Strauss. There we go, just wanted to clarify. The Southern Sorority of Superstitious Witches. Say that 10 times fast, because my goodness, the Southern Sorority of Superstitious Witches. And that is by Katie Ortiz. This just had a great title, and I wanted to give it a shot. I have the complete Volume 1 and Volume 2, the complete Earthsea, Volume 1 and Volume 2. I feel like Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin is a trilogy, so I'm not totally sure how this has been split up, but again, it's a classic sci-fi that I have interest in, and I don't know that I ever would have grabbed it from the library or anything like that, and so now that I have it in my possession, it's going to go on a more kind of sure TBR, even if it's not a soon TBR. A New Kind of Clean by, this is by Ian Reid, I believe. Yeah, by Ian Reid. And I am curious about this one because Ian Reid has been an author that I've enjoyed and had an okay time with, but I just read Foe by him and I absolutely loved it. I'm very excited to get to this one. He has very I'm not really sure where you would classify him as a writer, because I think sometimes he's technically horror, but I'm not really sure if that's exactly where he belongs. He's more kind of like creepy speculative, but I've enjoyed his storytelling, and like I said, Foe was absolutely spectacular, so I'm very excited that this is on my TBR. The Last Prince of Florence by Zoe Sivak. She Knew She Was Right, classic women's short stories by a bunch of authors, I believe. Yes, a bunch of different authors. I think that they're like classic stories. So stories by really popular authors, but ones that I have not necessarily heard of. I'm very curious to see how this one goes. Enchantment by Rika Polkenyan, translated by Tabitha Leggett. Fishbone Cinderella by Elizabeth Lim. And then Life Out of Order by Audrey Niffenegger. And this is the author who wrote The Time Traveler's Wife, I believe, which is obviously like a classic, modern classic story. So I'm very curious about this one because it's, again, a time traveler type book, I believe. Ply by Hernan Diaz. Hernan Diaz wrote Trust, which won the Pulitzer Prize a couple years ago, and is a very, very popular author, a very popular book. I've never read anything by Hernan Diaz before, so wanted to pick it up because I'd like to give him a go. Exit Party by Emily St. John Mandel, who wrote Station 11, which is another just kind of modern classic book, and I definitely wanted to pick this one up. The Pirate Queen by Ariel Lowen. She wrote, and I enjoyed more than I thought I would, The Frozen River, is that what it was called? About the midwife. I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would, particularly because it was about being a midwife, which has just zero interest in me whatsoever, but I thought her writing and her storytelling was done well, and this, I believe, is a pirate book. So sign me up. Tempest by Victoria Aveyard. Victoria Aveyard is an author I have not visited in a while because she does a lot of YA. The last time I checked in with her, she was still writing YA. She may have crossed over to adult. I think this is adult, but I really did enjoy her writing. I enjoyed the stories that she told when I was reading her YA stuff. So I thought, I'm definitely going to put this on the TBR and see what comes of it. The Midnight Guests by Alex Hay, I think is a thriller, but don't quote me on that. I have Songs of the Dead by Brandon Sanderson. I keep trying with Brandon Sanderson. He is such a popular author. People absolutely love him. And I have enjoyed his storytelling. I think his storytelling is so good. But I have not been able to commit myself to The Way of the Kings. Is that the Stormlight Archive? I read the first book. I tried reading the second, but I had waited way too long between the two and I was lost. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is one of those series where I'm really just gonna have to commit and read it very closely one after the other. And I don't have that in me right now. It doesn't mean I'll never do it, but I enjoy Trust of the Emerald Sea. I enjoy The Way of Kings. So I've got this one, and this has more of a music edge to it, I think, because I believe he co-writes this book with a musician. Again, could all be hearsay, but that's what I think happens, and so I'm excited to have this one. A Sense of Occasion by Brody Crellini. You tell me why I picked this one, because I don't remember. Reliquary by Hannah Witten. This is one that I have seen pop up on a few people's lists. It's come up a couple of times. I am not sure exactly when I will be compelled to read this because I think it leans a little into horror and I'm just not sure, but I wanted to grab it in case the mood ever strikes. I'll give it a go. I have Tere by Nafkote Timirat. I saw this one just a couple of days ago and the premise sounded really interesting, so I grabbed it, but I don't know the premise off the top of my head right now. Tillinghast by Claire Kavanagh. Sorry, some of these, they don't necessarily have like title pages, so I'm kind of having to see what authors and stuff are. And I think the author is Claire Kavanagh. And I believe I heard about this one because Simon at Savage Reads was talking about it. So he said something that sounded really interesting, so I grabbed it. An Infinite Love Story by Chanel Clayton. I've got The Midnight Train by Matt Haig. Matt Haig is an author that I have read from before with The Midnight Library and really enjoyed, so decided to grab it. I think The Midnight Train might have just been released, so this is a book that I'm pretty sure you can get your hands on now. The Nights Are Quiet in Tehran, a book that is definitely out already. It's up for the International Booker. Did it get shortlisted? I'm not sure, but it was one that I had heard of, and this I think was the only way that at the time I could get my hands on it, so I decided to grab it. The Witches of Cambridge by Alice Hoffman. And Alice Hoffman, I think, wrote the Practical Magic books, but it sounded really interesting, so I've decided to give it a go. The Unicorn Hunters by Catherine Arden. Catherine Arden wrote The Bear and the Nightingale, that trilogy, I believe. And I think The Unicorn Hunters you can get out now, but she is an author that I've wanted to give a shot to, so decided to do it with this one. American Hagwon by Min Jin Lee. And Min Jin Lee wrote Pachinko, is that what it's called? It's a book that is, I can't believe I haven't read yet. It is absolutely on my TBR. I want to get to it at some point. I just haven't yet, but I definitely wanted to give this one a go. I'm so excited. I am so excited for this one. I have Parita by Barbara Kingsolver. I adore Barbara Kingsolver. I think her writing is so freaking good. The premise of this sounds exactly up my alley. I believe it's about a pianist or a musician, and it's got something to do with music. Music is like one of my ultimate true loves that got away, and so I think I could absolutely adore this. I'm so excited to read this one. I don't think this one comes out till August or September, but I'm going to be getting to this way sooner than that. Taipei Story by R.F. Kuang, and this is, I grabbed just because it's R.F. Kuang and I read most of her stuff and have a good time, so I got a hold on it. I am so excited for this one as well. Patrick DeWitt, I think, is one of the most underrated authors of all time. I adore his stuff. This book, The Librarianist by Patrick DeWitt, is so freaking good. Everything he writes, I absolutely love. And he's got a new one, Dodge City, that has come out, which I believe is about somebody who's trying to avoid being drafted to the Vietnam War, and so is making his way up to Canada. Not totally sure, but I think anything he writes is brilliant, so I'm super stoked for this one. May We Feed the King. Who are you written by? May We Feed the King by Rebecca Perry. This is a book that I've seen around. I don't totally remember the premise of, but people have just been talking about it, and so I decided to pick up a copy of it. Kill All Wizards by Jedediah Barry. This, I heard, somebody was talking about this. It was Win at, Literary Divergence. And they were talking about it, and I wanted to try it because I am easily persuaded. The Lighthouse at the End of the World is by Philip A. Suggers, and this is a fantasy novel, I believe, that I have heard people talking about. Something like somebody who kind of gets into trouble, finds out he can travel between worlds or something like that, and I'm very curious about it. 3 Hitmen and a Baby by Rob Hart. This is part of the Assassins Anonymous series of books. I thought it was just a trilogy, but it could be more than that. I really, really enjoyed the first 2 books of this series. It's a thriller about people who were assassins and are now trying to get out of the business. I'm a little concerned about this one because it sounds a little bit like the Hangover movies, and baby-centric books are just not my jam. But because I've enjoyed the other 2 so much, I will at least give it a shot. Turncloak by L.K. Stevens. This is one of those books that I have in this electronic arc thing, but I loved Silver Cloak, which is the first book in the series, so chances are I will not be reading it in this format. I will be waiting until I can buy it physically because it's one of those books that's gonna have to come home with me. If Books Could Kill by Kate Eberly. What is this? Is this about like a person finds themselves written into a story, and I'm not going to say anything more because I might very, very well be misleading you, but If Books Could Kill by Kate Eberly. A Year of Mysterious Waves by Sarah Winman. I have electronically. This is a book I will be buying physically when it comes out because Sarah Winman is one of my favorite authors ever. I adore everything she's written. I have Still Life right here. This is the only book by her I haven't read. I've read everything else by her, but they've been hard to get a hold of here in the States. And so I think they're only now just kind of bringing out her backlist, but If God is a Rabbit, is that what her other one is called? So good. I want to own everything she has ever written. and this is no exception. I picked this up strictly because I swear I've been hearing people talk about it, but I have no idea what it's about. I don't have any idea if it's something I enjoy, but it's Daggermouth by H.M. Wolf. This might be like romantasy, possibly. I am very much on the fence about this, but I picked it up because there's been people talking about it, but like I said, just no idea what it's about. I don't know that it's something that I will get to, but it is now something in my possession. The Floating World by Ben Easton. There it is. Jane Austen's The Watsons by Claudia Gray. Another Jane Austen retelling or like parallel Jane Austen world thing. I don't know, but there it is. The Thief and the Traitor Bride by V.L. Bavellino. This, I think, is kind of the sequel to The Second Death of Locke. Is that what it was called? Which I read a couple weeks ago and I had an okay time with, but ultimately was kind of bored by the end. So we'll see how quickly I get to this one, but I'm pretty sure they're just like interconnected standalones. I don't think it's an actual series that you have to read. As We Fall Through Time by Claire North. Before I Forget by Anne Polly, translated from the French by Dina Leifer. So those are the books that I currently have sitting on my Kindle, which is an absolutely wild thing because when in the world am I ever going to get time to read all these books? I have no idea, but that is just one of the advantages that I have to where my life is right now, and I'm very, very thankful for that. I think my priority ones, I really want to read this Ashley Winstead one, obviously the Barbara Kingsolver, and the Patrick DeWitt, and the Bonnie Garmis. I think those are kind of the four that I like have to read immediately, because the other two that I absolutely really want to read, the Sarah Winman and the L.K. Stevens, are ones that I really want to own physically, I think, to read those ones. But tell me what you're super stoked about. Are there any here that you were also just like waiting for? But otherwise, I hope your day goes just fabulously well, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.